Sabre ye besori no sia brem na news team aba abetwa so every baby a ye sorry free ye eno achi na nwumre brem empanyina trase enso aba abekansem ede ahre yen enkosi se no sia bebo a ye bepon na busua woni yentena ebra se de ye ne da ne dru nwumre se ya ye sha ase with Solomon Carter okom kakra bi ewo enkrofo kroso owie pa ebre na aka nyina na ibedi ye ne ankasa ye fie enkomo senti a ewo se solo wie a otwen yen no ene se anwumre yi ye bewura Glorious Accra House of Folk Camp na yakohwe from UG Sports Stadium back to Accra Sports Stadium sikasam ho nhyehyɛ no akosi sen ene ebetemo sen na ekɔ GFA sen na ekɔ NSA ga kade we VAT we ni nyina breakdown ni nyina no ye beka mu nsem e de atro ene anwumre yi between NSA and Hasufuk eno eye de efiwo eba na coach and dim ane Prince Owusu ede afutuo ede ama Peter Amidu akwa se bo ne de enye ne bo ane se upia yankonkon a na ne wo tinkrofo guza da bi Peter ya de bi ka ho na fa goal scorer ne be ka ho ne nkofo hu sampa wo ye numero ono na ye behwe se ye Peter no nko ase de coach wo chefa wo mu den na aka Peter bo na mu hu no den na aka ebisi sabre goal scorer ne nka ho eno eya asemwa ye behwe na ye di ho nkomo na yakọ minister aso ye akotie de no so efuro eba no bonus so hon sensem a blasters asem ena making na ye de no so ede aba abesoso anyway join live on Facebook na Oyerepa Radio solo other one ye de
Oyerepa TV Ghana.
Okay. Oyerepa TV Ghana.
Yeah.
Oyerepa TV Ghana. Ahonso for adwencha no efa ho. Eba ntemu a ebejebre na yetumi akenkan edi amount 435 Solomon Carter. Nemre no eno a eni solo.
Right, enti yede enkrofon kroson sem kakra edi emamo. Ewo Highway Sports so ene Enyumre live on Oyerepa 100.7 live on Oyerepa TV live on Facebook. Also the messages by Ebekenkain at the amount not why a part of the show. Na ye basaya ye boni tell na fe ya ba e fi semni mo ba be din komopi. E won semwa eno so ewo efie na ya cheche ya adwen e de afa messages no eba Facebook ebe ja kind the amount 0538 101091 and also by way of WhatsApp any text messaging also eba ye be di ho adwuma e de amount na ye shen sem na say e de free Antoine Griezmann na so na ewiya Orlando City almost announce Antoine Griezmann say oye the newest addition to almost squad no na July 2026 and we join the squad na say besa bosome be miensen na edi anim after say season no aba na wie ya no na we join the squad na ono so ahye ni jumadi ase ede ama Orlando City almost eboboko no na after an announcement and Antoine Griezmann edi to jam say oye very excited and say ono so ebe beginning another chapter of the career with Orlando City. Now so a shame commodity and Arsenal now a strong feeling be as we know the right choice the mano what the future career football man no Antoine Griezmann nidia what then Bantino Aquano na chese what born the Orlando City shirt Masa mo kala de obua unya crowd efe papa and a chese ono and so sign a contract today am Orlando City or Major League Soccer anymore and ensem no eba Manchester United diamete and some akaka krabi normally could be men who contract extension talks wɔn atumi awie ne nyinaa ne sɛ nkɔmɔtwetwe no akɔ anim pa ama both parties agye atom sɛ boy ne bɛ extending a contract na ɔde akɔsi 2031 afei no ɛyɛ the newest contract Kobe Menu ebe signed ama Manchester United afia ɛno nso ɛbɛkɔ akɔwie a yɛsɛ final details ɛna wɔn ɛtache ne nkakra wɔn hwɛ ne mu sɛ nkyɛkra no wɔn bɛtumi awie na afɛ official announcement ɛnso atumi aba ɛde afi Man United wɔn ɛbɔbɔkuo no asoɛyɛ ɔfa yɛte nsɛm o na I go to the pressure abo run so pa. Now, on him said the last best 13 matches. Was Spurs. Woman again, so my bonya win about. Now, coach you a particular buy, and ya when you win, English Premier League anymore. Only one win when you against Atletico Madrid. UEFA Champions League anymore. Now, pressure banisono. Be free the family. And be free Jumadiana Odino. Of answer now, Nottingham Forest 3. Oye game one to me and post-match press conference. Na ninyana ne sene papa every muntino. Na yare hosem na se double agony. Emma cheso free express come cry or visiting family no. Na minyanti yasa coachy any space in penny for tenase. Ese jumadi no or peso jai. Na or citing reasons mienu or see the edi kind pano. Ne family issue and ne papa free no. Idea chese actini moral so I must say why down coupled with results enkoye with Spurs one more team no opese ojai jumadi na de to na one so pe ba bi ade fa na okohese bia obetimi akotena nchen kakra na wa regaining any moral and sacra and wasaba back to coaching after ne papa demise no I go to the free na so Ebam and Anumre, Jumadie no so the Manchester United striker Benjamin Sesko and the agent ora your friend no sir Elvis Basanovic and Benjamin Sesko agent. Now if I say what I say and say obi teme Benjamin Sesko say oye super sub na say one no de net no ready game no ba any entra no day obe so bako e diama na so anya win na draw bi e wo game ni mu na no na Elvis Basanovic oye boy no ni agent edin komo and was say dina woman edi man player no enya dia na ni je oni nyina ne say sa super sub tag no ye de tag wa na say game no enya dia obetai enya eya starting 11 no emu awurampempi obetena kire no pese ye Fred Benjamin Sesko super striker na momenye super sub obaso atase enti Sesko ye super striker free na koyemfa sa din no na emfre no we Elvis Basanovic boy no agent one so nkoma wadi na Liam Rossini Chelsea coach pressure on papa ne so papa enya sem keto akram say I got to the esin chen coach pressure ban so in recent days Liam Rossini na minya confirmation on the free Chelsea board ho SM omutai ora na chi so fam enya dia wo ebe ama what as enya dia omo be sake no na ye say is secure na adwuma no secure job security ewo ho edema no na yes say Chelsea unqualified for Champions League krana wo GDS in the long term no Liam Rossini ebeboa Chelsea omo boboko na we matlo and there is information no German ewo adwuma no so offer na no kwasiada and Memphis Depay ni team Corinthians wo ni Flamingo ebo ewo Brazilian Serie A ni mu overhwe image no na Memphis Depay on say yina film no attention game ne crime so amobi na omiamia ne phone sa ema edru ba bi kra no Corinthians officials ni bi na call say masa dia na oye wa ha no kan fa phone ni show bottom man ani ba ne ho so ema the phone no ehye ni bottom na yesim mpanyimfo review sa video no ahwe images omo GDS ade na ora ne ye Memphis Depay and ade ani omo mra omo de Brazilian Serie A no ebo ebra enti Memphis ebenya fine and also obenya ban up to 6 matches say ye tena asem ne so na ebone dia 6 matches and obetumi anya na final enya less than $1,885. Na say close to be say $2,000 fine and so betumi anya ni nyane so mo gidie ese Brazilian FA regulations no emra bi shemu a chese siesi akan a eni kwan ese obi atena technical bench so electronic device bi te say phone wa bra game and so ekoso a wo mo gidie say players no eni say ode phone econom ade aye allowed aye communication system. What I say be a coaches no ya suspend ba kuna otesoro na woni assistant ni din Clementino emrane de Memphis abuso a omo kwatan so a obetimi akwache be 6 matches a ontimi ansia kan emfam Corinthians bobo kono Brazilian Serie A ni mu eno so ewonsam no eba officially yenya letter no e de free Senegal Omo Football Federation no eho na yesi oma file appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Ni nyina ne se nano ena CAF appeals board tena omo ni Morocco AFCON final ne so no mzo ade na Senegal ye se omo duru ba bia ye je penalty ti omo so omo mobo ni biem no e constitute for feature ewo CAF omo mra ni ti for feature so de na se 3 goals and then 3 points. Yeah, the opponent, you know, Ebane Sadia Morocco and AFCON champions. Senegal Transidina or Market Common Semina, Edia Bomwa, Wamo at the Akoma Kafa, Weno, a official one. Yes, I can. Now you see a member of the executive committee, Edema Senegal Football Federation, you know, and I did to just say, Omono. Wamu ye bibia ne kwan so enya de omu be di emotions achi so CAF crowd the omaje trophy no enti bia ye de ahopepre bi ye ne mo so da bi woma to omu bo a wamu follow due process na omu eden awram ewo cast na for makohe ese asem no ye bebu ede atia CAF appeals board na omu trophy womu esan ede amomo a eno de eba afevisa ye video ne ready na men church asem we mu ncheti no na me wi a me de amanone nsem no e de ese over ma me he me krata ne so na Italy omo 9th division o de ma video ne na so na ye be di ho nkomo Italy 9th division na teams me enu bo na teams omo bo no ba ku coach Matteo Cesari ya suspending no from that game ntino ntimi enter bench and farmer ni team na offer on say ushe video na obi she tuntum bi as ogina park na chi what I say sa coach na ya ban no say ni team ne bobo na address say priest on as say ka priest a Italy there to say Roman father and wa be gina no abon cassock no kuta bible ni rosary and I say so ogina ho nyina no say ball ni bench ra now afraid players ni be mienu bi na or my instructions what I say that's what this guy in Obia when your suspension and was what Tifie every game na so my park crano and wash priest for cassock abejino no coach the team no coach and say akwabi bobo bi say no over na coach ni bufu ye no tc e pitch ni so kicking the player no and ankrofo for any ba ho no say hey akwai na nyoni suspend you na what this guy so who abegina na coach your team no na yes the team no win game ne dem best omo win is 4-0 na yes game ne buy we ya na omo sign charge no etna na asem so a omo sama ne 4-month suspension say ade no ye no we didn't say hunu pa wada down crofo enti no yes ama ne bosome nan say ni team ne bobo a ensan mani nsi ho enti over ni image na da so no ni video
na team mpane mfono mo nyawe
da bi o mo nyawe o wia no hu ne be gina o say supporter say so che say over to say bia ye bobo wo alignment park so na so kem na o gina o so hebo ni bia wan adwen na be ba so obi anim no abo asofo tade na o gina ho na che say ball ni kwa chire kakra bia
nti senye abufo na ba ya otisi eyini de ankomu
David komu no oh na yes the players need din say hunu ntina o say o si park ni so ko kiki player ba ko kiki na adwen chire e wa na
na wa we atade no kwa wo de ahye no je say won say mani ade no different se bi mpo a wa nkobo no na wo ye bi for kra de a
before na bad but of amro so ye bad o ye bad papa
am say abo opem no opem
enye easy
ade na am say woni mu anti wo tena fie na ha no
yes
na you say you also akoje for 4 months
4 months
4 months
suspension and also tena fie a
ene wa we next day won say you know eda na wo no mpoma awe next day ba be shop mpoma no mu o shop mpoma no o to sign ho na
me hu akwali video no chese ma sra you say the pop body sempa e coach ni dey
9th division
e wa chiri kra
we
e wa chiri
ene ho de bo say division 3 na ya Ghana ha
division 3 ye bo
course ni adai
ti we man ke course ni bi kra regional course level ni bi ni ade e bi under 13 under 15 we chiri o ba bi kra and a team nebo
9th division where the munya play they just mo chance kakra ba bia
yes
you fan say
coach na friend Matthew Siseri
on quite this time around the on maybe no
4 months suspension
yes
no it of yes e dey amanone nsem no e dey asi kwajo reko Royal Enterprise reko herbal mixture e krasia drew pebinom na ebebo papa eyi pressure free or eyi cocoa free or eyi infections or only oba din shemu ni bema din shemu ompem ama wanya ennamu yade bia nom reko herbal mixture ni bi na ebetu ase kra de amount menstrual disorder oba o menses sensisi so a onum bia afi o menses no beba kama de amount eboa mema wo mpam agudie na ye general well-being immune system no ehia support no reko herbal mixture ekrase adro no rubber bi eton no oman mu ha obenya bi ato fre 0244 470067 0244 470067 na one Kwajo Reko Royal Enterprise at the Encomo Perfect Skin and Body Therapy mount body no na aye kama yes or my body na aye kama now skin no and so aye feni nya say ye ho na ba ye pimples ye stretch marks ye nen so ben ene ko twa bi adeda skin ani nyina no e di free o say the be our skin no and so e be kama body no ye be reshape e the amount ye body enlargement ye flat tummy afa so ye stomach reduction e the account kuma senkan and afa takra the branches e wo ho frey 0553 312 911 and perfect skin and body therapy brand new car batteries brand new car tires a PKB group of companies omo eho ena ubenya bi na opese car no nante kama edema waje PKB tires ni bi mono enam wase ode nam nsuo mu abo mu awie mu emfutro mu de bia no eho eden pa ena batteries no so plate awodo nyina from cars nketo akosi akese oba ye benya bi ede amount ye main office no e wotafo nkramofo asie no hwe ani mu ofori chrome Neuro Junction and Crime Brigade Teshin Ngwa Beach Kwane Kwatemane ho enso ye ho frɛ 0207 0209 sorry 0209 170 030 PKB Group of Companies Bash Digital Satellite ML Decoder odebe bibia e o TV so na ya na meka se TV no enye born nko born no mainly e mema ne type na family no e wo se nkwada na enjoy omode maame no enjoy omode unya eye ohoho mpo ofia e wo so no so etimi enjoy TV no e decoder yes danger is aho bi o mba o twa be 3 weeks o obi madi o hono be 1 month on ti ase yes entino game centers hotels guest houses restaurant na individuals mobile ye mom decoder ni bia ni gisem ne say ye ma 33% discount individuals are we be to decoder na we be kase yenye recharge and installation emfa enkama ho Abreport Junction ship mu eho and a bash e was 020005 0848 0200 050848 and bash enkasa nyame ya domo am Easter bosome no emuana yere na Thursday 2nd April ekopim Sunday 5th April Easter ebre ohunti Easter convention no ye de eba Pillar of Zion Church International Evangelist Akwesiwa ɛda no yɛde Easter convention ɛde bremo ɛwɔ Babayara Sports Stadium Heroes Park ɛhɔ no ma na dwumadi no ɛbɛkɔ so anɔpa bia yɛbɛhyia nɔnwɔtwe apai mu 8:30 a.m. na anwummerɛ yɛhyia 6 p.m. enti efiri yawada ɛkɔpem kwasiada ɛna dwumadi no ɛba so ɛyɛ hyia yɛn na oso ɛbɛgye nkonkro no ɛnwo srane no ɛne asɛmpo a ɛda dwumadi no so a yɛde ɛbɛgyina so na yɛakyerɛkyerɛ Awurade asɛm ɔkwan a nso bɛfa so na wagye Awurade sɛ okra ɛne wagye nkwa. 1 John verse 2 chapter 2 verse 27. 1 John chapter 2 verse 27. The oil of the Holy Spirit honhom konkro no ɛnwo sra ɛno ɛna ɛda dwumadi no ɛso ti ɛda ne duru a Thursday 2nd April na yɛnyina yɛhyia na yɛtie Awurade asɛm kama. On that note, amanone nsɛm aboafo nsɛm yɛde abana wieyɛ ɛwɔ Highway Sports so live on Oyepa 100.7, live on Facebook Oyepa Radio, Oyepa TV Ghana, live on Oyepa Television Digital Telestra channels ubenya na wahwe ɛwɔ so ma messages no emra emfa lines no ɛso Facebook and afi 0538101091 na yɛbɛkenkan ɛde amount na wayɛ part of the show offer Clementino the darling boy ɛtoaso ɛde amamo
yɛna Solomon Carter ase na yɛntoaso ɛmfa ɛmfiri hɔ no mabafo akwawa
offer me jo so
bɔkɔdeɛ
kakra ikukram akɔfamu a bɛn den yakɔfamu kakra
na has story no de ba na pa no den update bɛ na wɔ ho
offer has meeting no awie na na me so lokura mo amena yen keka no man sie ni kakra bi ko kakra ya tin die omo maintain old format na no mo use na enti no em say e ka be fie because na e bo has ka kasem no ka ho bi ena mo do kenti say has enye ready see no Yusuf ene ni nkofo da so mo yom pem nkofo ko stadium se na be ya has be ni but say has
be before say has be free hono na den na ha wo mo
no ma miensa ba ko hu say ewu mu ani age free wo mo nsem na obehunu na ebia bibi fufu bi koso de to so mienu no na ekitafo no say lack
eni park na so
obobo a ni ahye wo mo obobo a ni ahye wo mo omunya good results wo ho ena de to so bi no sikasem say deductions na offer omoye no match day bia no say offer say no create wo de offer any say you 5% eno no yabobo na wi na sika baaye no sika bia baaye bia na ene sati 5% normati omu wi a omati titi bibia wi no ene se besan enya 10% ansana ebi akodi efe ho ebi akoga aka ho VAT nko a 17.5% and also a different no meanwhile security for ebeko omo paramedics ebeko any omu nyina nso so no ye be say deductions dia soto omu nyina nti so we house of folk and also we be use national stadium ye be ye ni nyina be wie no ofa say ye mfa ne say ye bo match no uton ticket no ticket printing cost nso e ka ho uton ticket no say 10 cedis na unya ya say bia ne pe begu stadium no e de ma 10 cedis a ye betiti be wie no e bia bu horma na wafa coach afa players abusum so uti om administrative staff e ye bon who de bon who de roman ko for bae no ne bia na de bia be 4 cedis and na ekofi bi hom ka 3 cedis 50 pesos na de kofi me ye no in simple terms enti wa boka apesika anka senka sika no kan kase be di wonsem a ka be ma wo mo ayem du na watimi aye adwuma no mpo aye ne yie no be no na dodo na ano afafafa be na ko
based on the okay de nye nipa dodo no mu hia like so nya no mo also be nya mo
say ekoso nipa no do so dia say yemfa ne say na anu ya has ne kotokobo wa hai o mtete pa na so kakra kotokonya no ne modu ba wo de offer say sika na o mtete ye no so ye wie no na about 55% to 60% na echo no kotoko no bobo no nya the lesser percentage. It doesn't happen. And just yes sir. Senka baby at 10 20 15 20 30% bimpo and anka echo and 70% eka teams ni hono mo a of an company sika are competitive in terms of bibia some be come market akopɛ quality players say even po no mo afefo no hia on bet my but who say the money here ade ni say for instance kotokoni aduana bo kumase na onya say sika ni nyina yetete no a aduana ne kotokoko bo odoma ono sa bo no bo wie ya na say sika ni nyina akone ho oh say bat there who say bat there but the other deductions na esake kaka ho no ema uluzu more enti for instance say bia na for yire ho no mo bo na adima bedu park ma ana say bia bechemfo omo yo ho no fosijabo no mbo ne ma say kotoko bo half or hano a yetititi a wanhwe na bechem kra ne ma no wo ya na anya sika asen kotoko ya na depending charges no so ticket prices no so dey so
before say has be through hono aside to win share na ka ho like ni ho ne ade no on se kasam no men kai se omone ana omone kotoko nyina call aban no se omon tititi nyama bi so na
ana eka ho be kai a pole eka ba bi kura so no say take advantage san so ni FA no so kai so no so omon hwe ho asan kama on se krom hanom onya de obi abebu awo because we dey imagine we are national sports authority na to say you know Bofanka by ya Accra Stadium okope pitch cover ya or dey sasui as you say or dey bia omo nsa wo ho a omo make sure say at least e wosoro kakra yi e cost enti NSA meeting no dey tell say one of the areas na NSA ni gina e operational cost because as I say every now and then ngunya na mo kwa tena so say paper so say obi kwotena ho no to ibia odibia wia no atogu ho no okọ ese ye prapra ni nyina no nipa na eye saade no sai nipa na oye so ntimi emfa ya sepan ye to no so ese pe bibi kakra nti no operational cost also a part of the cost that affect NSA no now we say because a governmental agency no for instance say the budget no ma ministry na o hye na se no no mo chiche wie na wo de no kakra wo benya no say ebia bibi ni na say esa and now aka wanim fo afi mu nyina na yese wa pekwan be fa so a obetimi a generate revenue na wo de ahwe ho and na wonim senior system no sitie and na system no ti se kuma se o nya sika wi konkran ansa na bia sa aba wo ho enti kakra bi na be mo kwan se o mo ntinto ho de wo ye den wo boa and de o mo ye den o beje no de se ya mo kwan se o mo ntikito bi ntukuma se anu a na kese de konkran na e bi o mo hia o ma sa akwakwagya ba kito na esa ha de no mo ni wo ho because and de quickly na so mo timi de bi
ho kwa de yo mo antem asa me hwe se between o mo ne clubs no aba so mo yes and full up ben e no mo yes abre no
ofa
ya na e fetre
sam ni bi eti ko dai
ti o yes o ye free ho ya ko legon ye ho adwe
ti house 14 as ya hu se uko legon na e bia o mo charge o se 10,000 cedis
so the norm say fix
yeah
na ho ye fix
to 10,000 no o ko 10,000 no otua no ko sia da no
we are the beba ho nyina
se nyame ye wadom na onya 15,000 unya 20,000 unya 30,000 unya 40,000 a we sa 10 se busia na akoboy we 10 na de koto bebi kra akoboy busia na ya ka nyina de aka utimi ye de
ba lego de en sa ha de ntumi nyene sa ho akra de o ntumi nyene sa ho
aha no se omo ka se omo charge commercial rate a o se ha no no ma no ne kase no ne no ma bebre ka ho a no so be kosoro kakra so ho e bia ka omo se omo mo ko han de bo concert ni adade ya omo charge wo mo so ho se sa charges no so the ma clubs na enya da no anhwe a omo bitimatua because na anu ya kotoko any nations bo yen nyina nim enugase eto yen omo ankwa nkohwe
na se no de obobobo se kolusulusu we mu a o spect so mbeba bo ya Ghana na ya tu omo funso ba fo yitu omo funa omo se omo de dominim dada na no munim wo sha omo beba na wo ye na ne wa dum so sabe wo she ba ko na 3 days won she bia omo mba ye tu omo fu de ya nteno kwa de bia na encourage omo so omo de no omo she na support semra nti tama ye bewura studios le na omo de nkomana ko sisen
oh nti sisi idea kamera sem se house ya agi atomo ase om be kɔ de saa because
meba omo fa foforo bia meka dada na omo firi okoye na
initially ni de na omo meeting na tena se afiase nkomodie de na nka foforo ba beka ho now so Hasford were able to impress upon them, say look the Canadian kwani tuane ye nin ti so so ade bi beka ho de ane say ene ase wo bo akra na wasan you know yes wabre ni sun so ho wabro no wasan abre ni sun na yese ba ne sa na adwen enti said the NSA director no so director general no so he's a sports person, a journalist, a senior one at that, and he understands the whole idea. No, you can't say it's and Kasabo. This is from a fankudi. It's not just any. Omaka na Omaka is here. Na just say what is the idea? Say they will go by breakdown. I mean the ma no. The VAT 17.5 no. Ebe juma 5%, 10%, 10% in all those percentages no. Ni nyina no ebe juma na ya ya hu se ni ade kakwa enti ofa no enti ofa ya wie no se ebia se akwanya wo ho no mu a anopa no fi story bia se kakra wa ha no mu wadaro masa akwanya no wo ha anopa no fi story kakra bia se wa ha no mu na am say reactions kakra e ba na se ne de bia ya wo ka no
anu de hina
ya na ya pusu nya kan so kakra enti yesu ko pusu nya kakra
very necessary
enti se ba ne sa de won pusu nya kakra
wonya more de aba
so me say na me no say me your story na say when my story is challenged that ya na me pe unso bu ha na bia aye da bi me am for me ho ya na me penisa because I think right now I'm being challenged to do more enti when my story is challenged ya na me pe minim de kwese de si wo baba na mini ho nti me nka baba yara asem but the demand for the player's medical report it happened before Sunday that one
Mazak nye has di yinyo ho na tisi asante kotokwa ha me bo Peter de na e de no aka ho na ya Zak
Tino
de da ho no has de no
ya somo Tino I have Mateti Obia making an argument and very spot on. And as a folk, reason why I want to say here saying some free car sports stadium. Even though that was in the some of the analysis that some of our friends even this morning made those points are making it any the entire reason why has a folk. Truth is that the biggest of all
and only Kasiapa among the Bafo boss, you know, the Tiania, you know, Saluna Cassia, the other no Musa Babaku, Jesus cousin.
One immediately after Omona Kotoko. And then Tiana and Mobuy and Comedian Afro. But they played matches there. Continuously and supporters. Okay, was a park.
Yeah,
Oma they've buried what almost soon and Obaka ya no makobo top 4 cra ama akoko yamomo so the argument is that hodie mbo matches are ekoyi mo nkran ampa also mko the first 2 games since they won and ma asem no ebesi super because oboko Lagos no they won the first 2 games over there after those first 2 games na enyema atiesia afedie akoba ne say but let's establish one also fact say they are not running away from us from Lagos. Omaya African Indian Championship be Accra will host that championship. Athletics asana yeken. Onze adebakwa we can say it without any say Ghana is one of the finest in terms of modern track. FN is saying that you can boost off for that one day. So do the school, in the school, but truth is that Legon pitch no. Nyama yeah for athletics ready modern. One of the best that you can find on African terrain here. nti omba be athletics championship e with Accra Sports. I think say in the next 1 month or so. I'm not sure of the date. Say meaning so be ebi 18 na obabu with the date na nti no ho renovation and omba be was to meet
the standard
and I said be ready for that athletics championship na omba be Ghana be host no. And now my say mo bobo wa emoe etientum na
yenya kwa yema concentration
ko ni yes prepare ni yi my only problem with Saturday when say tino de ne Ghana nkwa because ade we me enti bi bibia o
so wo bola is jai na yen
sisi yan na ye be bibia this year Tuesday mu say kwa sisi anza
say atreta yema yen san ko ho chihye oni jai ya
maintenance
eno na me no na
ye maintenance enti be twa bibi besi a ye se atum say ekwakoye maintenance ena me bia me ntia say this year Champions League final say Kobi say am refi we dey be this year tino stadium no team bi bobo so no obebo ball akoti weekend before the final of the Champions League no obebo yanka say atum e dey akotwen Champions League final but me nim dey ntia Ghana nko ade because of our bad attitude towards maintenance tino ye twenya ma time duru a yes afi na ye stadium say ye kwakoye maintenance tino that is just the problem that I think ye wa and na ama has for no ya pa mo free league because on kwakoye maintenance but I am not because all these charges there no minimum that because it was agreed before the season started bibian be kan additional cost bibian be kan biom the minimum that na has at a point first a dozen which yenya e datum say a dozen my problem and I said has phone and kotoko how much have they fought for the reduction
na na mi busa ba
akoye no ma twere ta ba kubi
na ya tiada
say the African no when poli
when be new won buy
no
o mo fa akonya no so
sa aka tra mo twere no bibian si biom batino ade ehia na oboso about other venues no they have a nice way of beating the system na omuntu the exact figure na kotokoni has share wakra no
o ka da venues no
nche chire for no
o so no kwa de ne de ntinde ye betia ye vat ne de
vat ne but
even na no mpo
vat ne mpo no
mo kwan foforo
so no ayo stadium de
but ha no so untimi unya ne sa
ha de unya ne sa bi kwa ano wo ne aban dwumani na ti wo wo ne na watchdog the ticket no aton aban dwuma ko na or share stadium so or interest so what I say or interest on the amount that will go to government. It's all they have a nice way of beating the system. Ticket now beton no and no clear. They have a nice way, the more quite for some BT, but you can't beat that system in Accra. You can't beat that system in Kumasi because of NSC presence at those venues. And you know, I dare someone and said they have to push and push very well. And BBC and actual Krataba could be and one will be Aquatiada. We should be continuous idea pressing on government on the here.
They back one no yeah we three some this year if I could say be 1 week time 2 weeks time na chire din
and one
because I dey money abrepa mo ne kotoko and I dey we mo kam ho bom nsam pushi say and the tie no do so since asabi opole free mu e be sin na anka mo kada woda dan kanya afia mo bai ana nke be ya yente so da bi but mo kote dai
obia nka hwe so eti I wanna say omo hwe then because truth is that also you better tell you be you know so akofa it's kind of better in terms of the echo we wo na ko we wo na we no enya dia ye tino unsa na me ka Champions League Puskás Arena ewo Hungary Puskás Arena will host the Champions League final ewo Hungary 67,215 seats capacity na osha Hungary na me say pesa me team na venue no on matches so they are still using the venue to play their league matches.
Yen ka say no ne bobo grand finale ni ntino munya so bo nko bo
befufuro e be there be na no ya
even if the cabin is 2 weeks come
there be na no ya hwe live Europa League final on board no Bilbao stadium no anya hona yep no hona mo Europa League final why hwe Man United ni Bilbao semi final ana ya hwe ye ma stadium no the following week na bobo final no kwa no Bilbao ebo home match but stadium no was correct in a good shape for the final ade na yenku ade maybe bia assign you to stadium say kwa kosiesie and the other folk see ade based on the ebe koso ewo Ligue 1 no dey it is true say they can't have access to stadium no so they only option than to go back to the original agreement na no anything what that no we nya fe na ekoye tisoma me bia because a contract that you've signed so it's a contract that has been signed already and say go back the way I say you go back to the original agreement mo no na mako diso pepe they say muche bia na matwia na maye etino enye yes we sympathize with them because truth is that scan eti omo do so tino afeso bia boy mo nhwe unsenka yade a yehwe ball
but then say nya ho bi because se beda ho a ono so asem ka obi a so ze kwa de me na wonyu su biem na wo scan ji so kwaje no aban mu na ade abayan siesie dan say obebo na abeti nyema so na benya kakra to am say things no ye better than say mo ba yire nyema so because they okay confuse so do
kuma for example the stadium ebe mo bo when Kotoko leaves baba ya sports
na me kan mo ko obo asi kakra kra wa hwe ne na ehoye
we will generate money again so that say sakra de omo wa Blasters ba bobo say when the stadium had approved one for Blasters game there o hwa omo baba ko
binya ba ko bi
omo baba ko
na
duru December so a so omo je omo
ya show ngakra
omo je 1 billion no ma je 100,000 Ghana cedi o ana say
eno
1 million Ghana cedi omo je 1 million Ghana cedi ya no mo de so e atokakra but kuma say we da Kotoko say don be mo eti enne ese you have to make tangible, give a reasonable reasons so why government should look at those charges and for more because first there wasn't any initial 5% not 5% maintenance in the first anyhow so the amount from gross first one and then only 10% to the NSC it's a manageable and after there o ma be say you di kan eti 5% on gross ansana the ebeka omode asabete another 10% from the offense net eti esa tino e ha dwen me na me feel say but enya anu na ye nka no kwa we don't just say it you have to show working. How do you show working? Go to government, give them pressure. It should be continuous pressure. Men kwa one day a debi and they ko ba kwa na ejai ye ko ba kwa na ejai there be emwa discussion in course. Did you know maybe Hearts are going back to Accra. They have no option because there's no venue for them to play. Accra no Greater Accra no just FN saying Ligue 1 and Accra sports no kwa no better ask better ball no has or magnitude no they can go to Temahon no kwa ball no emwa so mo ko okreku wono no yi ka mo ko bo
kreku tamana
hoye nyama yi mo ko bo tuba
okay
amo so eti they don't only any option now to return to Accra until let's see how supporters know and they will help them because omo stadium until ka but the anya be we know they have to manage it and move on
achedi kabe ko na baka kakra nsa na mama tiesi asante
on say ade are hot say ni ese clubs ni yeska ene kwan fa so di nyeska na en sha da nyom adwendwen over ya menti ase o hala mi si ase a business na mo run though a business e dey account say my passion and manage but it's still business over anti business yi na ni o ma dis ka be dem fa so ba na yem fa ya ni nkon no ene e be da ya ni yie ni atimi atumpo it's quite worrying because at the back where this cabra pa chitafo eba stadium has if free Accra forget about in summer ho do no mo kan ofa no mo hwe ntete e betete omo ani skom benya achiri wa achiri a menu na na e wo fom no mo nse bia legon no de nya kakra bi a kan tete ani nye bebre
de baba ye botom bedos
and yes that should not be the solution. For the solution should be the intinanko for your programs for Accra. Our holidays since I would for Krum Kakra and Yabeteo. Manful she is scheduled from Pa Giomenu. A month for bit me a Monday to Saturday, and the planning in ISS Sunday be Wako Chile. Didn't Yanyama or Moya warm from 2000 eBay. Or for Muromo 25, no more 26, and your mom 1995 way of our Muromo 30 Muniadi. Yanya momfa stadium so nka omaniji baby on person ko jo many over the weekend san your man nyina mfa ho san komo nyina mfa ho enti wo he ya se we make to be 7 years ago insana mo Accra also and of America say ya nhwe yi a ebedu baby stadium no ye be ka kire nyina se ye ma ball but omo bobo no be bre pants and omo use facilities and na e ba no over Easter Idra house for no more matches and some pebe for us and the fall. Because convention for this can be to her. I had an common a different. So they do December. Now we see from over Masobayashi. The movement is not really the issue. Strategically, we must find the right solutions. Ain't me idea about solutions are. You never drive in the Parco Stadium so that the club can raise money from gate. Abrochire one major source of income, especially almost season tickets. No, the best starting on him so much say dawa or when they barber put him in hobra. By a crew my clubs before they ever started born. You need any income be a crana more guaranteed. I'll be me a plan with it because. At the end, started say from young clubs now saying to Anamubia, they've not engaged themselves in anything that could drive people to the stadium. Omunye mubia, legoin crop and ye king. Eya house by our hunipani to more. And form pa. We talk about performance. Yes, ya just to say performance not drop over there. CAF Champions the groups near 4, Confederations Cup group near 4. Into 16 teams. To Kabuma 32 teams, Ghanaian clubs in Timin Kubi are hodie. But and Cherese Stadium where she a quarter quasa. Whilst other places are booming, people are spending money over and the influencers see Obitimeka with 300 CDs you can go to lunch at so and so. Uncle Fugusu could do lunch was our places need to 300 no. Nakajeni Paniso 250 CDs be hebo no so on bar. And Tress and Nipa Niska Mbotumu, a manful scale Mbotum, but a moon who se born, ya dear says almost sell Musica home, and almost use so Musica home, Sanam community. Nana for Luto Pizza back where saying Pizza, I added that guess in San Roman and Nanam, and your boys Yaneto. Otobacque saying over tilapia, Otobacque saying, Nakot Koji 20 cities will get no being qua. Of our seminary catcher. See 20 cities will get to know being qua of our seminary catcher. And a live man from Bubu crewman. Oko Tanasi and our J. dear shed down home back one. Of us only their shed down. What you back one by any body different from a Montino. they shut down back could be with me about 30 cities, a bit me about 25 cities, and of how the tree I answer. And some call for call. But I ban when you say Benny Pano, who took an alcohol, but who so many value for money. And a drew weekend and soon.
Canadian stadium no say didn't ever be come.
Some make Kanya as I say, you finding solutions. The issue is not about poverty. The issue is never about poverty. Because Ababen or said,
the uncle for no what you will be an near Bressa is never quit your baby.
Sir,
we need be a cover or cover benya value for because never be brain or
Panabon or bar. I say a year ordinary. Over the last 4 years, Udoko Stadium, then Pana a new experience. Aubina. They no be cancer, but say they be out, would you be fat private jet, we do enough private jet now. A class, you know, those are funny pan. But trust dinner made you not 7 home. And found the most expensive restaurant. They be out could do what they be out could do all. Now, Kona win a new experience. I will be crackers, young crackers, my brehoko. So, what is the experience for Nani Paniba Stadium or Binya? Dear, yen papa mo de cool stadium, the ha. You bear warm up. You are near passable near bo. Born so and Cosro. Outside activities and Cosro. Stadium security, from stadium, that environment, that ambience now, more refreshing and calming no, over and Cosro. Because to me, go try baby keke over. Na environment in from a clear farm keke no. Na mo ni aje na stadium over yesi baby VIP. Over VIP. Important personalities na ho. And so we call no. Just a foot through he rubber guni panenim shane ka ho like I say nipa no de nimia na ekọ VIP o. Nti I say what about me call restaurant we try keke no kra na say from an ebo ho ne nyum na omo bono now I to say idea metua me sika didi kra me say ho nti it's never about poverty. Poverty can be part of it, but it's not about poverty. The clubs are not doing their things right because weekend sika amount for spend it every day sika amount for spend over any the amount for you know senkade na corner can they will come in their blasters board do I own say once in a while near blasters board but blasters board do near book Kumasia but we are now some boy Ghana Angola and so to easy she a poor boy nipa na namun su mu kon e dentia e den Sam your man necessary whenever we are having discussions about our game innovative ideas because at the point Premier League now call for show their pitches were bad hooliganism was all over but the people tenacity looked for solutions and we saw here perfect yes I of bedroom you know
to MF for 9 when I'm function
they should be moving this agenda and yes I they cry so me another kwaja chini po my home. If I'm being honest, Nasa could me bomb match no be a hero. Heroes Park. And I won't be. Nay, denke ye den pana kot obo. Nanka was saying no wine second kobo. Because when you know, Heroes Park of July. Kawo cry about Tidim. Who drew Honano, who peda kotocombo, no away ye. And then make him Dave Nakotko friendly match. Now some the friendly match in the queen 5 free say. A yenny pano a yen VIP on a cap and more see account. That is where we are heading towards.
Mate, Solomon Carter say Kingsley, a commentator one kind, was say and Ray Obutu of Fanco Barrier at the Beer's Kitchen. Na when you news you back could be a biatum and I wash AT&T, my young charge my from war at the Beer's Kitchen. Kingsley. And you may, we are sure since young Kwana is Anna Kamabuse, is young Kwa. At this time, at this wedding, and you may say, you Unkwana or say, no, Eja, you know, Adobe's kitchen of Uncle's barrier. Oh, now see, I sure. Also, watching the show live at Ashtown, Kwame Adomako. The message this evening on Facebook. Good. Michael Owusu AK was say you present a budget to the board. They requested a medical report for clarity and you respond with anger What kind of attitude is that? Accountability is basic requirement in any professional environment. If they feel or say okay, yeah, na ye train moya na ya sana modi na ba na be bo afaso. What kind of attitude is that? Accountability is basic requirement in any profession environment. If they feel unable to meet such expectation, when perhaps it's time for them to step aside. In fact, the board should take decisive action and address this behavior immediately. Not just say, in fact, there's no problem. They are behaving like politicians as usual in Asante Kotoko. Michael, Nedia, and more fire, and a Nekunsu Kodokro, the message, and more update from House of Folk Camp, regards to Okumkom MCE, Ngabe just out. Benji, MCA has a Jumano and Nana Adams, or say House of Folk change venue to Legon immediately after playing Asante Kotoko in Accra Sports Stadium when the NSA deduct almost half of the gate fees. Okay, Nana Adams, Nenso Dieno, Kodo being MCA boy, that say, as Budapest will host the UCL finals, that say, would they buy, Zaketo, did you know House of Folk didn't get 50% of gate fees from Kotoko game? And Adams, Nedia, and no, was no clubs uses Puskas Arena for its home match. It's primarily used for hosting international games. Okay, Nana Kwesi. Send no cry, says, yes, ample, net the Hopian cry, Berta, and Beswana. Not just say, I inclusive need you out see. Mekoba, me fair, Nana, and Tafan, Henry, na Yaba to us. Mamma Mintie, the someone, Coach Prince Usu, Aka, Ede, Atre, Newinga, the friend said Peter, Amidu Aqua, born in the Yana boy, so bought to change to also, yeah, maybe now the goal scoring. Eba come.
We are working on it. It's patience. He sees it clearly and he wants to go for a different kick. This one here, we now all they say, I'll go, cry the ball, put mama, but he wanted to just curl it in. And that's when he gets to set moments, he overdo it, and then maybe that's why the goals are not coming as he used to.
Good. Inti danger. Papa, two of our party when we need to us when yes, when
okay, over Mate Midase. Said an American. The demand for Kotoko players medical report no. Me say na me ni babayara. To me, I cannot speak to the CEO of babayara. But I can say see before last Sunday match.
Are kind of just see babayara na. And I mean,
I'm paid there. I had the information about
wasn't what was said. Like no the individual discussion. I don't say a new issue about a procedure. Na o my request. Into Misha Babaya procedure.
Okay.
And an app and catch evidence say, okay, we need to know at the end on from Mao. And it's just
tomorrow let's go introduce some questions.
And the idea from request
that I know.
But say the see na before sorry number and then they see almost see about stadium not the earlier request.
Okay.
When say what I say
me matter say
be need can call be na call about stadium the but for sa me I know the figures. I have the figures here don't go present here. I have the figures and now say demand for the
report
medical report. And when they met at Abera Sports Stadium, the MC chairman told Evelyn and as much important one you requested no. Confirm
was stadium and not said.
Confirm could be a shilling and danger won't tell you. Maybe you know the best person. Minimum say it because him as a corner as soon as in show we. Maybe I'm imagining most and I'm person and not Eddie medical person man say con one jiro we.
Me Zach narration in I will not speak to it, but I'm saying that there is see me say BBC or buyer I don't know. Any winning na senebe ya and because me nigo and I'm not speaking to anything that happened at Babayaram, but the mechanic say the demand for Kotoko players medical report happened sometime last week, and yet nano kwesiada.
The happy and didn't see a danger.
Number 2, sa demand no Nana Pinkra had no idea.
How?
Good question, but me say the demand to them, to the medical team, and go to Nana Pinkra. Why? Omwa, if you had the
maybe to see a son and up and call medical for no street and
I'm telling you. And I'm saying that if you are your Omwa Kotoko secretariat, particularly the administrative staff, Omoni be me fine. Omunkobusa Om. Now, this is it. Sanya Baya Bema Obu say Asam Mekano. Obi on Yakoto, ya fine be Musa Koto. Say, when was the last time a medical team no almost submitting report at the man and Appinkra? Anytime be a medical team need the report to ko biano, yet on the mark Akoto, it is Akoto that submitted the man and Appinkra. Rider. What happened?
And look at the administrative, you know.
Good.
And
yes, someone catch them, I mean. Someone demanded, that's what they told her.
Evelyn.
Yes. That's what they told her.
Say,
me say, me na up in cabinet in Casada. Akoto same, but Munko Busa Omo. Right down, what happens in the say? Anytime, yeah. You can't say, Omudi report to Beko to be before them and napping Cabiano. Then I now will call them to come and have a discussion with them so that they will explain areas they want to see. In fact, they went further to say, medical report of individuals are private and confidential. Therefore, cannot be given to Obiasa. They told her.
But they are bored with us. I mean, no, Meti de okay, I say, I'm over here.
Board bank.
No new board as some near King.
New board bank. No new bed Omishala bank.
Oh, but for James
on Kotoko players a medical report.
I'm about for Union say. Yen na tell you who say new board no almost start to do you. Ah, Sabu Kubeka say I am Sinclair who report to my
own cancer.
Me the first BB so better must and she said new board I requested for medical report. I don't think Rebecca said new the father said be a medical some ebio me enum ba kubia me nana kan nya adwuma na me hu say what the me so me kan ase a in the every request here or requesting the name of the board and board you know so be kan ni aye story wa say one nti manu and the surgery and ko say we ni mre bia sabe wan koya we so me ye fie dia na amuafunya ya afie de wage atum a mo dwene ho na na bi mo kra su say abetamo de nso hyehe ho ama me kra me ka say sabe ye story say board na gya atum sa afie de mo boa mamrante no aye surgery nti bia ma dwene mu eno ka ho na omo soma evidence and ye request for eno bra ana danger de make won me nya adwen
offer the okay na on the basis of assumptions but we dey mean challenge me the be adwuma but me say bra report no demand no was placed no the medical guys no e ka kire they make demand and say that is not how no demand we na ko ha ansa na baby e be ko bia akọ ye mfa masa.
Okay, yes, we be no beach. Finally, kwesi say minim say no den na kwesi here. Structure na yen to say minim say the be ya going forward.
Anopa me catch no say me ka wa ha say per what I heard some of them are not happy. Obeka won say na strike ka say omunya ready some the report to member there no omunya adwuma nko.
Some of them are referring to medical team na.
Some of them are even ready to resign.
Oh, Samo.
Yes, some they want to protect their integrity and their job.
So they know. Obi na bebu sa samti e bia o ayenya dem say akoye say asori ekoye so ye better for yes yenya ne dem ti bia no abi na yenya ne dem to chire ni pa no ti ase aso we dey nduru ba bia me beje adwuma
anopa na say obedi ka asem bi but em say nya ye pay attention. So obedi was talking about following a laid down procedure and structure. But also what I say, board ene omo information bia one no bebisa no nya na penkra ene na no bebisa no because say omo bypassing na ka obi afoforo bia ho no mo a they may not get the accurate information they want and now say as it will be given to them even though Akoto is the administrator he does virtually all the administrative work team ni mo but I'm not sure the board will bypass Nana Penkra and go to Akoto say your information ABC in the family. If they do that, next Akoto at the more Akoto it will become an act of insubordination. And that is what the guys were talking about. Mpacho what you say? And that is what they were talking about. And that is what they were talking about. That there should be a structure. That almost at any given time, Biano, they deal with Akoto. Omo report it goes there. Then Akoto to the Napinka. Then send in church. He calls them. Then they will go and do it. And so that was for that they wouldn't have a problem. Until offer this is it. Any further will move. Say Anopano. When the story is challenged, it challenges us to go for more, and then we bring more.
Yeah, na minim say na ya say if hands was steady more or less ye nyina no obi a per update nti bia we no also the beat to us but me hun say me fa say is challenging. Yeah, em fa say also the beat to us na mom wo the officer bia wo die ni gina no e ho ana na gina nti ba foi asem no tia no any sense say e dey futu na dey tat wo was asem yo na me ko nua no mo
futu dey offer obi a ene oka the structure na system na run kotoko no ho no one and to boasie anopa say obedi kasi be now want to with due respect to him repeat it say at least this transition should be as smooth as possible. This transition should be as smooth as possible. Send ye be ya ebe wi ase no sa obi ko wenti when achi na ya som mekai of you were here okay opoku nti ko ye yes we wi sika enye dom ka so odi akosi hospital na ndie nkoda nchen yes what top players na sika no what ebi akofa baabi something that sika no ye tua ye nyina nim say top players sika no ye tua ebe ko team na account mu straight a obi a only access to account won timi emfa bi o but e rani wo krum ha gidi so you obi a offer and some shey ni mo bi asaminka why peeved but we be say next la anytime be organ ha bia bia kotoko obi a oka ho bi odi eche bi otu na mo odi eche bi sadie no esese ye try say e be ye fi wo say a particular group of people abeso omoko ya kan sem ya and most times offer ya na ye the share media no it is generated by omo mu take over no the media naka
okay
na aye he na ma sa ankofo na look bad na fe aye omo yampo se ombe so moye they should try as much as we can say this transition will be very smooth obi anya abotre
okay
now lay down structure and procedure no anya adwuma
okay
na obi anya na adwuma pepepepe
bia ni ne line mu
ano
de no so ndi ba ka ho anya ne sa de bia enche beti say hey
na atesim
ano de be
body awo ba foforo yi ade ba ko mu hia yie papa aba mo beti me deliver de makotoko ya asundue ade ba ko hia because you who board several board media I'm old enough to have seen Herbert Mensah people obi mu tokwa okrom ha I'm old enough to have seen it ebia people didn't see ba me dem hu ye hu board ahodo ye hu kopokunti any lawyer adujamfi board okrom ha ye nim de see ye hu ekwan a Dr. Keke Sapon any Kofi Kapito any Alhaji Bamed in the blessed memory no mo any saying papa dia no mekai they see here after eventually no as so mo call neka Dr. Keke Sapon ko an
mani anto aswe
ye hu they see wo Dr. Chei no mo board ya etwam ko na Africa mu ba ye kotoko board has been always at the throat of each other okay Dr. Benyaku no mo board no as for management no any Reverend Osekofi no mo any Madam Nakobla no mo okay come say na na team na ye five people by ntimi nye enti santo kwano
me da say okay Zach Yakwe na uni amra.
It's an interesting but I see me, and I always try to you mentioned we scrutinize every administration being it Kotoko has or be the argument say we sit here and scrutinize them, but I don't know Mrs. Evelyn Siasar. I'm not too close to her, even though but I'm not too close to her. I don't like the discussions out there, especially I say meaning what people have against Evelyn that has created this hula baloo stories around just meaning what it is happening like that. I don't know what has happened now. Maybe I mean maybe I mean this year, you know, I may not be in the know, but to be honest, you're too premature. I've seen a lot
from one side,
a lot of Facebook comments, some people forcing to bring her into issues that doesn't exist. Now, let me put and set some records straight here. And Pastor, have you seen? You've seen it. We're directly from we're direct.
Matuasi.
They are monitoring the show. She came in
referring to San
Mrs. Evelyn.
Matias. She came means Sunday Yasemina. Okay.
She came now issue about say onye IMC chairman and apek enya aware of requesting for those things, you know. And Amuta say ombe correct this. You say she will have a peace of mind. Say issues that will go out, no, obenya peace of mind. Na you trust her some so. She came to inform me about the reports of injured players. And I directed, Pastor Muteki, I directed to Kombulu.
Kombulu? Who is Kombulu? Okay.
Because I know they are very close. And when the board, because Evelyn doesn't work in isolation, demanded for the medical report from the IMC chairman, that is management. The chairman is the head of management. It's the board, no. I requested for players' medical report from management. Then because the chairman knows, say, also Onim say, Miss Evelyn, any bakwa, are you close, you know? I say, oh, and the Kobakwa ho. Nakwana kwaji. I called him. And I called him to give her all she needs. What I say? And this is a message trying to confirm the fact that one, Mrs. Evelyn never bypass anybody to call the medical team.
Offer the right channel. Board this man say go and get us the medical report from the place. Yes, we know any two players and I
yes.
Okay.
From because now request a call medical is for some players saying a surgery. So I say then the board demanded for medical report of all players. And he smart through the special assistant say get us a report from the management. Then the board also used the proper channel of a chain of events. The chain of the Indian crowd. And now call management or who is the management? The head of management is the IMC chairman. Requesting for the reports are born air panel. In the proper channel of a now I said the IMC chairman no ebia through akoto that's all no to call the medical team no backward to present it no the idea and I come more.
Okay.
But based on this discussion, and I said yeah, a woman you know instead of do the you know because no onim say he's aware of their relationship. I say my name say officer how many how met me a breaking down my obi atiase say be a head of sports na my mean head of commentary protocol man captain siasia so na yeah pad yeah obi in relationship with if any saying Jibo as head of sports be a call commentary management airpay but because I think the normal process no so because they only or they know their relationship you know so obi a call come assume say no odbama that was what happened but Bia should have what they did pass through the normal
but that's exact
corporate
thanks for that
for Miss Evelyn the call say one bypass protocol
okay
and when you see any back door rather it was the IMC chairman who directed her to backward because also they are friends into no and they are call ya better because he knows they are friends already I think maybe if there are issues but Mrs. Evelyn I think it's too early to try to because I mean you see Tino nobody should sign the portfolio no whatever she says let's put a record whatever she says or whatever she requests whatever she do right I hear the position of the board
from the board.
She does not speak in isolation. She does not work in isolation. Or you be in isolation. Be baby ano. I hear what the board chairman wants to do.
That's exactly. Then you come call me on a 30 seconds version one. And I find a fan question.
Oh, over.
Now we are actually doing some fuck a crack. Medasi. Actually, actually, bana. Mebao was say Nana Mankwa also on Subutu. Achuma Merku, as a Biaka Merku, was say Obed or enjoy pa and more fire Kajagum.
Make us no, I'm the director of secretariat.
Okay.
Well, Master Man, nobody say he's not aware of all the information that they say did it or young form or young bypass someone in this sense.
Onwa
need you here no.
Because they be a brainer a woman. And I'm recuna was a him no.
Today,
a brave woman in you soon. Yajan Quabia or do Bessie no Bejo. Oh, dead yet, I'm recall. A brainer a woman. A brave moo soon. One of two be out to be a hard of her. So he'll cast me. So we are very careful because maybe I want to say the wind of change is blowing. And when the wind of change is blowing, a bit me I'll blow for a petty reason or for a strong reason. A bit me I'll blow for even personal differences. A bit me I'll blow with the work, you know. A do Sabrina now. Akonya ne ba odin for bibia mu na se na so betimi akla ho a over no akla ho ntem. It's an interesting conversation. Anopa ne wie no anzo sa anopa no na abas ofa no ne Eurajima o anti ekogina bontin din ko edin come over about 20 minutes. I was listening to the conversation pa. Obi anya abotre. Over Obi
am press panic baby.
Hey, funny, I'm doing this. Over, you do baby. Oh, I never could buy any movie. Then he said, Menam who said, board neba at the end of the season, no matter for Frahan, you matter for from any so. But I feel, Omenya Brea, wait here, ye shen you mem. The last time, I said, some could do sponsorship on Crown Com A. Kit sponsorship on Comoma. If you moon chitch, must to hire Ebia, THB crowd who ebe in Chirimu by any idea, Nina say, a Timiaba. On the part of injuries, you know, over there is a perception around the medical team. Oh, and some of the perception there have been personal differences. Akum, and yes, Kasim can you can say P. Cramobit. But I think there are differences. Ebia from the past. Enti ama anamuntu bi ene eyibi nsede munda ho. Ofasanka wo hwa asem ni din na wanya abutreti asem no mu a me asem ne meka sema ye ho ko. Ana me ne obi adi hu nkomo na me twantro. Over anopa ne nyina ehia and I listened to the whole story from all the angles. Kenya sembia o. Oh, but ebia nkomo ne course sen. Because obi amfunya obi a ebede na over sadebo a wotia za na bede na asem wepie over majority ase ebede na asem wepie senka a normal conversation so ebia board no are present management are present medical situation of players and ebia board no epe further explanation na board ye nyina nim so mu ni bre nti o mana musi ni nti on na ebe ji nchiremu no no dey come board na mana take decision o think ncha da nye asembia afa o think enya asembia o fa ma jwa te ase as to what the reaction will be something should be there because me hu ni say kakram na masoto ase na anu asembi wo ho
Samu
na anu asembi wo ho cause kenya asembia of I say the medical report of individuals should be classified news there, but the degree to it. I need that information to take a decision to you. Medical, the normal over in Piesu crunch we are no papa crano. Sometimes you can see a catch rum, yajitum. But to say, assume a sipra and your surgery waha. Surgeon and yan and TSA and ye, as will be chilling which rain, because yen ye bohoka. Oh, so Banisana na privileged ye breaking to some point. Sikana shall be an enemy, say. But if you are also a deal common, you will see a bit me and Yanisi waha. Dainty Yanko Clementino Hospital. And then Kwani or Clementino Hospital to a sea. When you know questions are at top meetings there, you should be prepared to answer.
But then who will answer? Who will answer that?
Answer who answer ne say? Why a recommendation?
So that person must be there.
About the
Because the report itself cannot explain it.
The other recommendation and the further explanation about. Ebi our recommendation no Clementino senensa ni kokrubutie ne ya. Wo da doctor o say yenko Same hospital nkoye. Near fresh Same for background Same say obeji 2 CDs. So we see mpanifo no mo be yiska. Don't forget say board no. Omo na yiska de yekotko adwuma. Enye fikasi mbi. Nti so omo adwiri omo
fine
ansa
ko bi aso bu wa konta.
Exactly. Nti e ba ne say obe penchiremu abro de odi atokrata so. Nti e bi obebisa na de nti na yenkoye o Same hospital ho. Na danger hospital no ya na Same se obeji 2 CDs no danger so se obeji e bia 150 pesos so you should be prepared to explain. So I think say if omunya proper introduction there they should introduce Mame Evelyn Siasa be the moon so my proper introduction wo adakwaja achi pictures nearby there was a picture na medical team for ni bi gina mu anyway there's another one na technical team na medical team so I want to believe that there's been a proper introduction. Her authority has been explained to personalities within Kotoko. But I still think me issue have to do with the command and the chain. I'm going to say your chinebi and then a medical team. Maybe your chinebi a technical team. Maybe your chinebi a player. Maybe a player might not be used to the system. Maybe your chinebi board ama yema means yes I say maybe on Fred Umbra. Maybe omnija unka contract ho nsense. A picture we na na mepe. O the medical team for ni bi gina mu over. Omu wo me hu bi. Ehu be mienu bi wo mu ana mania. Se me hu aiko. Ana me hu bakwa so. Se me hu SK nim. Ba se me nsakra wo mo tinkra ya akra ta jenka tuwe.
obetuma to one krato
so
so
come on nyina na say okay so the oshe
ba ko na she a board a ha yes
the oshe chene ye Duba na Amos Frimpon aba na Ike aba na Tola aba asenso na shentoma no ena akufu na sheche na bakwa ena video analyst no na ejina between ejina na
ne
akuto efinfin no ena Beku ena Prince Owusu ena a youth team assistant coach Okusi asa Kwasi Bibi ena Hamza
ne twatwa
I think say introduction aba
okay
ntimi de ne say yema coordination ne adwuma we di over asem de say jato mu dia na ne bi di chiri ba because sponsorship hun sensem player contract negotiation dey ntin na diska we koye say eno kra no de nchen we dey say offer we dey say nkan sem ni nyina no we kra na nka emu da o because e dey nkanya